President-elect Trump gearing up for a big week. He's going to become the 45th president of the United States in, 11 days. Confirmation hearings begin for his cabinet nominees. He's going to give his first press conference since he won, and there's a lot to deal with. So let's discuss with someone at the center of the transition, Trump's senior advisor, incoming White House counselor, Kellyanne Conway. It's good to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure. So, Reince Priebus says this weekend, yes, after the classified briefing that the president-elect got, he does see the basis for identifying Russia as being the motivator of the hacks. Is that true?
Well, as the president-elect said in his statement on Friday after the intel briefing, Chris, he recognizes that Russia, China, and others are constantly trying to hack into government institutions, businesses, individuals, and we, of course, are against that. We don't want foreign interference from anyone into this country. This man, Donald Trump, ran successfully on America First, and he means it, including on this issue. But we also just, we can't get over the selective feigned outrage. I mean, China hacked 21 million personnel records. That's 21 million individuals who did nothing wrong other than have their records at the Office of Personnel and Management, a government entity. The White House has been hacked, the Department of Defense, the Department of State, other agencies. We should be concerned about that. I just think there's been selective outrage about Russia only because some people want to conflate that with the election result, which of course, Mr. Clapper
which you can argue is a
was not the
mistake,
conclusion.
and politicizing something that should be dealt primarily, and it's certainly at first, as a national security issue. And even in that response, Russia, China, and North Korea. China and North Korea are not mentioned by the IC in their declassified report, and it certainly hasn't been the focus of their intentions. Why include those other two and not just say, yes, he agrees, this time it was Russia, and we'll have to figure out what to do?
Because, Chris, if we're going to have a serious conversation about national security and intelligence, we should be talking about all the actors who have hacked and continue to attempt to hack.
But two or the three are said by the intelligence community not being involved.
But most of it, but look, they have a larger part of the report dedicated to Russian television, RT. Do you want to talk about that?
That's a declassified report, though.
Well, but look, the nut of this 25-page report is really just 5 pages. And if you look at it, I do want to say there's no smoking gun when it comes to the nexus between these hacking activities and the election results. And there are a lot of people on TV here and elsewhere trying to confuse people into believing that that is the case.
Not here.
And not on this set, not at this moment. But Chris, here's the other thing. Where was the outrage? And frankly, where was the punishment equivalent to expelling 35 Russian operatives, which President Obama did about 10 days ago? Where was that when China hacked those personnel records? Where was that even when the president chose to say knock it off to Vladimir Putin instead of taking stronger action? So we don't want...
I think that that's a fair point to say they did things wrong. I just don't know why that is the response to where the president-elect's head is on Russia, because it does seem that there is an intentionality on his part to insulate Russia from exposure on this issue.
No, that's not fair. And it's also not true. And here's why. He's not insulating
He's never
anybody.
mentioned Russia, even after this. He's tweeting about all kinds of stuff this morning.
But he mentions Russia.
Most of it we'll ignore.
He said over the weekend that if we can have positive relations with Russia where it counts, where it actually benefits America, Americans, her interests, and her allies, we will do that. And the example that he gives, and that many of us give, is if we can come together to defeat ISIS. Not call the JV team that's on the retreat when we know that that's not true. They just massacred Christians on New Year's Eve in Turkey. They target people of all faiths. They're anti-democratic, they're anti-freedom, they're certainly anti-woman and girl. And so if we could join together with other countries, including Russia, if they want to get serious about defeating ISIS, then we'll do that. That's where the president-elect's mind is on Russia. Other people want to continue to talk about the hack. And the other thing is, if you read the New York Times or even the Washington Post over the weekend, Chris, you quickly see that people were surprised that given the way the testimony went on Thursday in Washington, that the intelligence briefing on Friday and, frankly, the publicly available report, there weren't any fireworks there. There wasn't. And here is the direct nexus between, they kept using words that Russia aspired to.
But that's a declassified report. Our sources on the investigation and how the intelligence community feels is that they have 0% doubt that Russia was motivating the attacks. But I think...
And there's 0% evidence that anything that was done affected the election result.
But I have not even brought it up in this conversation.
It's everywhere. And I think to affirmatively debunk it is very important.
I know, but here's what I don't get still. I get why you're sensitive about that. I get why you think it's objectively wrong. I get it, the politicizing standpoint of what its impact was. But two things. One, during the campaign, fair is fair. Donald Trump, as candidate, was saying, read the WikiLeaks. I hope WikiLeaks gets her emails from the server if they have them. Put them out. So there's no question. He wanted that to happen. He was hoping it would impact. He encouraged it. But
No,
I'm
we
saying
had nothing to do with it.
But I'm not saying he had anything to do with it, but he certainly had something to do with encouraging people to look at it. But that's the political aspect. I'm saying why corner yourself on not acknowledging what the intel community is so confident about.
No, he has. Read the whole statement. But the
he has
statement
never
says four
said,
different
with
things.
all his tweets about all these myriad issues, he's never said, he'll talk about Meryl Streep. He won't talk about Russia and say, yes, had the intel briefing, Russia was behind it, won't happen on my watch.
Well,
he could have just said
forget
that.
his tweets for a moment. Look at his full statement on Friday. I hope everybody really
Russia,
internalizes.
China, North Korea.
No, but beyond that, he said, he started out by saying, I respect the members of our intelligence community, the great men and women who serve. And he is reaffirming his commitment to work closely with them and his great respect, enormous respect that we all have, beginning with the president-elect, Chris, for the men and women in that community. Then he talked about how this is about the DNC being hacked, which is true. You and I would not be having this conversation but for the DNC not having the proper firewalls, not taking the FBI.
Or if the hackers had leaked what they got from the RNC or any of the other things. They only selectively put out information.
He says he's meeting with his team, and in the first 90 days, he's going to ask them for a plan to really beef up our cybersecurity. I hope you and I can agree that cybersecurity is really woefully.
Sure, they should be up. They should be up there. But you know, Sean Spicer was saying RNC wasn't hacked. Where'd you get that? You better never say it again. Well, the intelligence community says they do believe.
Well, they believe that the attempt was made.
They're right. I mean, they were trying to get them too, and they don't know for sure whether or not they hacked them.
RNC had the proper firewalls. The DNC did not. Look at these.
I don't think they're 100% on whether or not they got anything. We just know they didn't release it.
Raised my eyebrows. So it must have been newsworthy enough to be on CNN. That's where I read it. CNN report that raised my eyebrows last week, Chris, is the one that said the FBI asked the DNC for access to its information, to its servers, and the DNC did not accede to that very simple reason.
I think that nothing you're saying is false on that. I just think it's a distraction from the main issue.
Let's talk about Meryl Streep, by the way. I think it's great that she wants to give a platform.
That's a distraction too, but I'll give it to you because I wanted to talk about it.
But seriously speaking, why didn't she use that platform to talk about the mentally challenged boy last week who was tortured on a live streaming Facebook by 4 young African-American adults in Chicago screaming racial.
One of them was done by a bunch of miscreants. The other one was done by the president-elect of the United States.
No, but we should. Oh, come on! You're really going to equate the two? He has debunked that.
No, I don't equate them at all. One of them was a crime. One of them was a crime.
And that's right. That's a crime, and I hope the book is thrown at them. But again, if she's got this great platform and she has a worldwide audience at that moment, why not bring attention to that recent event?
Because there's no controversy over that. They did it. Because they've been charged with a hate crime.
That's an active investigation. That's
but that's we know who did it. They don't deny doing it. If they do, it doesn't matter.
They were just being kids.
Well, listen, that ain't me. Okay, we know what they were. They were haters. They were hateful. They got busted for it by making that video, which thank God they did.
Do you agree with Meryl Streep, Chris, that the most vilified people right now are in Hollywood? I mean, I could feed.
No, but I don't care about
the cost of some of those gowns.
I think
tonight,
all
and
of that.
I'd like to borrow them for the inaugural.
I think comparing the two is wrong for several reasons. I think Hollywood does what it does, and people can judge it. I find it odd. All Donald Trump then and President-elect Trump now needed to do was say, hey, look, making that gesture about Serge was wrong, and I apologize. And it would have been over. Instead, there are these tortured attempts to say, oh, no, I had nothing to do with
he's saying
Serge.
that isn't what he's saying that was never his
and
intention.
you have people online defending
times.
it by saying, oh, he did that to other people, too.
I haven't seen any of that, but I'm just merely saying that when you tune into the Golden Globes award show, is it always appropriate to talk politics? They can say what they want, but then they have to be held to account. I mean, look, that's a very myopic place. That place,
that's fine.
This network, frankly, all believe the election would turn out a different way.
Is she wrong that it was wrong for Trump to make gestures like that about a man with disabilities?
But that is not what he did, and he has said that 1,000 times, as he tweeted out today.
He can say it a million. Look
time.
at the video.
Why can't you excuse me? Why can't you give him the benefit of the doubt? The way the benefit of the doubt was given to CNN's polling, all of its analysts, everybody in the world saying
because he's making a disgusting gesture on video, talking
not about
Serge.
that reporter, and that's just a fact. That is what he said. You should give him the deference and respect if he says that he was not mocking, he was mocking the groveling. He said it again this morning. He has 3 tweets out about it.
But he's doing a gesture that
You're
goes
saying you
right
don't
to
believe
the
him.
guy's
You're calling him a liar,
vulnerability.
and you shouldn't.
Look, Kellyanne, To me, that's like you're trying to scare me off the point. And we
No,
both know
not at
that's
all.
a
I'm
waste
not
of
going
time.
to scare you off anything.
He's making a gesture that is so keenly tuned to what Serge's vulnerability
and now you're giving
is.
oxygen to what Meryl Streep said.
Forget about Meryl Streep.
That's why we're
before
talking
her.
about it.
Your people said,
It
well,
was
he said
all-
it to Cruz also. He did
was
that to
all
Cruz
very
also.
litigated.
He did it after.
Listen,
he did it to
all
the reporter.
talked about in the election. I came on this network
So you don't think it deserves
weekly
an apology?
and talked about things.
If our kids did that, can you imagine what we would say to them?
I'm not going to bring my kids into this.
I will. If my kid did something like that, it'd be a really tough day.
But
and an
look,
iPad
you
for
have
your
to you have to listen to what the president-elect has said about that. Why don't you believe him? Why does everything
'cause it
taken at
doesn't
face
fit with the
value?
facts.
62% of Americans, according to CNN's polling, said Hillary Clinton can't tell the truth about anything, and yet
who
she
was
was
right
given,
behind her
no,
in that
she was
analysis?
given the benefit
Trump.
of the doubt here constantly.
When?
You can't give him the benefit of the doubt on this, and he's telling you what was in his heart. You always want to go by what's come out of his mouth rather than look at what's in his
It's
heart.
a gesture that he's making on video. Everybody can
And
see
you're
it. I'm
supposed
not
to-
judging the man. I'm judging what he
Why can't you talk about the fact that
did.
Chuck Schumer said that he will obstruct every single Supreme Court
Because
nominee?
I
He doesn't even know who
don't
they
draw
are yet, Chris.
equations between
no, it's not
bad
equations.
acts.
Let's form
You
a
judge
government.
each for its own.
Let's form a government now. Let's get this government formed. And we need the help of the Democrats to do that. We actually don't, but we'd like it because we have the majority. But we'd actually like his help. We don't want the minority leader who thought he'd be the majority leader, Chuck Schumer. We don't want the minority leader going on another network and saying, we will stand in the way of any Supreme Court nominee they put up. He doesn't even know who they are yet. He doesn't know what their credentials are.
I hear you. I have to cut you off because there's a timing issue, and I don't want to get in trouble with the whole campaign,
They're
with the
cutting
whole
me off on
transition.
CNN.
But I don't want to go too long in the window. We're just getting started with the confirmation process. We'll have you back to discuss what's fair and unfair.
70 hours so far of mock hearings, 2,600 questions fielded by our nominees and our designates. And we've met with 87 U.S. senators, including 37 Democrats. We'd like to meet with the remaining Democrats.
Good.
Thank you.
Kellyanne,
Take
thank
care,
you for
darling.
being here. Appreciate you making good on the offer on Friday.
Of course.
And best to you.
Pleasure.
I know you have a birthday coming up.
Oh.
You're only 34 once. Enjoy it. We're following a lot of news. Let's get to it.